What's going on, guys? Snaggy here, and it's time to review round 18 of the 2025 NRL season. Only 5 games to get through, guys, but kind of still whip through it because as soon as that final siren goes in that final game on Sunday, also we want to talk about State of Origin. So let's get through this one. I can't wait to do my State of Origin content, guys. Not too sure when the hell I'm going to film it, but we'll get it up. We'll get our bets up. We'll get everything up, guys. Let us know how you went on the tips this week. Any big bets you might have hit, anything like that. We went 3 for. Not stoked about that at all. Was hoping for at least 4 in this one, but what do you do, man? We're up to 55. That's right, 55 upsets for the year. I'm pretty sure that would already be a record with about 9. What do we got? About 7 rounds to go. That is absolutely insane, guys. So even as a comp, it's been in a long time. Rough on the tips, rough on the punt, but awesome as just a general NRL fan. It has been absolutely awesome. All right, boys, let's get through these. I'll spend a bit more time on the Bulldogs and Broncos as well. I had a lot of people messaging me saying, why did you do a post-game for that one? Like my short ones on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts. And I was down in Byron Bay. I was with the family. I was watching it. I watched it. But I was, we're drinking whiskey. There was no volume. Family asking me questions about stupid stuff, and I'm like, yeah. And they're watching, and then I did come back and watch the full game the next day to get a proper vibe of it because I was very interested in that one, both for the Broncos and for the Bulldogs' finals hopes. So Broncos massive comeback, 22-18. Raiders hold on against the Dragons, 28-24. Storm beat the Cowboys, 26-20. West Tigers scrape home against the Roosters, and that has not updated yet. The Manly Sea Eagles defeat the Rabbitohs 30-12, and everyone else won the bye. Let's have a look at the ladder real quick. Raiders 3 games ahead of second place, Melbourne Storm. And Bulldogs and Melbourne Storm tied for the wins, but obviously a much better for and against for the Melbourne Storm here. And then we have the Warriors. They picked up their 2 points with the bye. They're in 4-2, 1 game, but 4 points clear of the Brisbane Broncos in 5th. Panthers, Dolphins, and Sea Eagles move up into 8th position, pushing out the Roosters and Sharkies, Dragons, Cowboys, Knights, West Tigers, Eels, Rabbitohs. No movement at the bottom of the ladder there. All the movement was in the top 8 here, jostling for positions, and we are. Unless someone goes on a big run, it might damn well stay that way. It really could. Let's just get into this Bulldogs Broncos game. Look, I've got lots of positives for the Bulldogs, but the real rugby league fans and fans of clubs know like some constructive criticism as well. Nothing bad. I actually think I know it sounds weird, but I like the Bulldogs more now. Not so much after this one, but after last weekend, this week, I'm not too worried about them. But look, we had tries of Montoya, Burton, Kikau, Karapani, Hoister, Wilt Walters, and Piakura. Now, let's just talk about this for a second. So the Bulldogs in general, right? Damn, Xavier Wilson ran for 200. That is crazy. He was actually enormous. Need to get him more minutes, man. Need to get him with more minutes. 43 tackles, same as Reid Marnie, and he had a break. Reid Marnie came off too, didn't he? Damn, that's pretty impressive. So Reid Marnie is officially off to the Cowboys as well. I guess we'll talk about all that real briefly, but look, Bulldogs are in control of this game for the majority of it. And look, at halftime, when I was watching it live, I was sitting there like, I tipped the Bulldogs. I'm like, I was right. Bulldogs look like the Bulldogs, even though they're missing key players. Their kick pressure's good. Reynolds is kicking the ball out on the full. The kick, their kick pressure, their line speed, all that stuff. It looks like the Bulldogs, with whether the stars are there or not, it looks great, rah. And then, unfortunately, it was, and I'm not saying this to bag him or anything, but it was Galvin who. All right, I'm trying to think of a way to word this. We keep hearing this stupid narrative. I think Gus says it, so I think a lot of Bulldogs fans have adopted. defense wins premierships, defense. Of course, you have to have awesome defense, but if you can't score points, it doesn't really help you. And like, to be honest, like just being real here, Bulldog, I'm not saying these were lucky, but if you actually break this down for a second, they only scored one try off a good scrum play. The other two were, I wouldn't say fluky, but right place, right time. The Burton one definitely was very fluky. But again, right place, right time. The good players happen to be in those positions. The kick-out one, it sort of bounced in his arms as well. If those two sort of lucky tries don't happen, we're looking at essentially a 13-plus win to the Broncos here, you know. So, and they would have sort of done it in a trot. But even though the points for them came late, they would have, you know, gone on top of them. So they've got to find some points. They do have to find some points. There's been a lot of halves of football for the Bulldogs who were sitting in second place up until this weekend where they hadn't scored. A lot of halves where they literally hadn't scored a point or hadn't scored a try. I think they scored, like in this game, they scored 2 points in the second half, but they didn't score a try. And there's been, I think random stats guy put it up before the weekend. I think it was 4 or 5 games where the team coming second had not scored a try in a half of footy. It's very, not alarming, but, you know, you want to be scoring. You want to be scoring more than that sort of thing. So, just with Galvin in there, like, so what actually triggered Broncos coming back was, so Bulldogs had not a lot, but plenty of good field position. And this is the difference between Katoa and Lachlan. He was doing the inside and then back out. He passed the ball terribly to Burton twice, and then to kick out as well, which caused an error. Staggs runs down the field, gets tackled, they flick it left, they score. And then that's what actually started Broncos' comeback. Again, I'm not saying Broncos like outplayed them or anything or were better at any point. I actually thought the Bulldogs were better in this game for 60, 65 minutes almost. But once they lost that momentum, it's very hard to get back, as we know. So they just really need to find some points, find the slickness in their points a little bit. And I know everyone will say, man, they'll listen to all their players. And I agree. But this isn't this game. There's been, like I mentioned before, about 5 or 6 games. They need to be able to score a few more points. Like I said, you look at the ladder. I mean, Warriors are horrible. But the two teams above them, you know, like they're scoring more points. I mean, if we go here, so 462, 485, it's almost 100 points difference. Warriors haven't been scoring much. And then we come down to the Broncos. They're in the 400s as well. You know, we can come, right down here. Like Penrith have lost, 4 more games in them, and they're not too far off. So constructive criticism, they need to find that whatever they're going to do and how they're going to attack a little bit better. Like I said, I love every other part of their game, though. It was funny, man. I was sitting there when I was watching it live, going, oh, what a great tip, Snag. This looks awesome. They look like exactly what you said in your pre-game. I trust them to kick, chase, kick, pressure, line speed, blah, 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 blah. And they did it. And they kept doing it in the first half. But then, like we said, they just couldn't score enough points. And taking the 2, we've said that a lot as well. Like, if you really think an extra 2 points is going to steal the game, it just really doesn't these days. I don't know what the percentage on that would be, but pretty damn high. But look, the whole Burton into centre, I know that was just a cover for Burton. But I just don't know. I don't know. Like, it's hard for me to criticise because at the start of the year, I sat here and said, I don't think Reid Marnie and Sexton can get you in a grand final. But since then, Penrith aren't as good as I thought they were going to be. Melbourne aren't as good as I thought they were going to be. Raiders are great and killing it, but beatable. Like a good team could beat them. They've had all their last few games have been all 1 to 12 wins and stuff like that. So they've thrown this sort of spanner in the works here, and I'm just not too sure. And I heard Matty Johns talking about it before. He said, they really need to work this out over the next few weeks. I'm like, bro, the finals are coming up really quick. Like they need to lock this thing down and really decide what they're going to do. But the one thing I sort of notice is, right, so, and this isn't a criticism on the Bulldogs, but they are very systematic. Like, they play within their systems. Galvin really thrived with that free flowing. Like, he did whatever he wanted. He could throw a triple cutout ball Yeah, the Tigers would go out on the fall. Like, he was doing heaps of that. Anyone that actually watches Tigers games, he was making plenty of errors and doing plenty of dumb stuff. Can't do that at the Bulldogs. So it's sort of taken his flair back a little bit, and he kept trying to do this outside, inside, could tell with short passing and all that sort of stuff. And it just doesn't seem to be him. Like I said, I actually think Burton, as awesome as Burton would actually be better at a different club where he can put the spirals up more, where he can play a bit more free and loose. I feel like even Matt Burton's been in a little bit of a cubby house pigeonhole sort of thing. So, yeah, look, Serraldo hasn't missed too many throws at the stumps, so I'm sure he'll work it out. But that's just what it looks like to me. Galvin doesn't look quite like himself. Like, if you watch his Tigers games, he's getting the ball, he's free. There's someone sort of half free out there, double cut out. It hits sometimes, it doesn't sometimes. If it hits, it's all over the highlight reels. If it misses, everyone just forgets and pretends it doesn't happen because he was 18 years old. So, yeah, we're just going to have to see how that whole thing plays out. But they have thrown a little spanner in the works here, and we're going to have to see how it goes. But, yeah, like I said, I thought they had a genuine chance without him there. So we'll have to wait and see. On a positive for the Bulldogs, I'm not mad at them at all. Like, these last two losses, I thought they played great. You know, like, they were great against the Panthers. They were great for 65 minutes in this one. I'm not worried about them at all. Bulldogs are always going to lose more games in the second half of the season than the first half. Their draw was much easier then. It's a lot tougher now. They're coming up against a lot tougher teams. You know, they've had injuries, state of origins, all that sort of stuff. So I wouldn't be worried if I'm a Bulldogs fan, even a little bit. Like, you're going to be there or thereabouts. Just don't want to lose 3. You know, you got the Cowboys next week. I don't know if that's home or away, but you don't want to lose that one. You really don't want to lose that one, guys. So, best chance, you really want to finish first or second. I don't think it matters first or second. First is just bragging rights, but that home final is a big advantage. You don't want to be sitting here having to go to Melbourne first week in Melbourne. That's rank. You know, you want to be sitting, even if you play Melbourne, you want to at least do it on your home turf. You know, so yeah, I'm not too worried about the Bulldogs. As far as the Broncos go, I feel like this was one of those wins where, even though I didn't think they were great, it could be that similar to the Panthers one where they won without all their stars. Then you drop them back in and you just boom, you become your old self again. So it really, you could tell it meant a lot to them. They're giving it to the fans. They're rah-rah, they're cheering, they're laughing. You heard Kobe Hetherington in the sheds after saying it was the best win he's been a part of, all this sort of stuff. So this could be that win that really kick-starts the Broncos. And just quietly, I know they're a few games behind. You know, what are they? They're 2 wins behind the Bulldogs. So, you know, they couldn't find themselves in the top 4. I'm pretty sure they played... No, they've already played twice. They play Penrith again. So, yeah, great win for the Bulldogs, for the Broncos. Let's have a quick look at some of these stats because I didn't really get a look at them. So both completed at 72%. Bulldogs much more time in possession, which is a little strange with 3 minutes, even though it had the same amount of completed sets. Ran for more metres. Got beaten in the post contact a little bit. 6 line breaks to 2. That's what I mean. They weren't quite creative. But again, I'm not going to... There was a lot out. 23 tackle breaks to 31. Both set distances about 32, 33 metres. 9 offloads to 8. Yeah, so look, missed tackles 31. They'd only missed about 10 or something in the first half. So that's a little concerning. Errors too high. Penalties pretty even as well. So look, Bulldogs are going to be just fine. They get Saluka back next week. Salmon and Satili a week after that. They're going to be at full strength in 2 weeks' time. They're going to be sweet. So Bulldogs fans, don't stress. You're there or thereabouts. All you need is a good win, and you'll be absolutely coasting again. Let's have a real quick look at Bulldogs. Bulldogs run over the next month. I'm pretty sure they have a few easy games, and then they have a few tough games to finish off. But no buys, remember. No buys left. So they're going to have to go all the way in. Now's when you don't want injuries. Because I'm not saying they got lucky, but they had a little bit lucky. They had quite a few injuries, but they were getting buys, which just buys you that extra week. It's a week that you don't, one of your players that's injured doesn't have to sit out, Oh, where are we down here? So Cows in Townsville. So should definitely win that. But then they do have the Dragons, who Eagles just had a win, then Tigers, then Wars, Roosters, Storm. So you get what I mean. Like lots of winnable games here. They definitely want it. They have to win this one. You definitely don't want to go on a 3-game skid, and then they're going to want to pick up at least 2 of these, 3, before they come into this little bit of a harder run here. So Bulldogs looking fine. I'd almost, they're pretty damn close to just lock them in for a top 4, but not home yet. They've definitely got to, like I said, they've already had their buys. They definitely need to chalk up some wins, but if they can get 3 of their next 4, sweet, absolutely sweet. All right, so anything else? Let's have a quick look at some player stats here. I didn't really get to look at these after the game, but I thought Willison was awesome in this one. I really did. I really want to see him get more game time. I really do. He's ready, bro. He's not young. They're holding him back. He's 23, I'm pretty sure. He's big enough. He's strong enough. He's fast enough. He can play minutes. Give him a run. Give him 40 minutes a game. Look at this. He was great in this. 203 metres, 83 post contact, and some of these runs were really good runs where you're like, damn, good run. You say it out loud. Cobbo, 130. Kerapani low-key is really good. Stags, 166. I would have loved to see him get more ball. Ezra Mann looked pretty dangerous as well, and I really liked what Piakura did. I thought he was nice. And Jordan Ricky, I've never been a huge fan or anything, but he did play some pretty good footy in this one. He did just stepped up that little bit. So and Billy Walters, great. Like just his last 2 weeks, he's been absolutely enormous. Now Broncos quickly, they do have Ben Hunt coming back next week, and then I'm not too sure how long Jesse Arthurs and Jensen are out for, but they're going to be pretty close to full strength over the next week or so as well. So it's good signs for both these teams, man. It really is. Absolutely flying. I hope they meet in the finals. It'll be such a good game. But I guess the overall thing is I'm actually pretty impressed with both teams. And I loved this game as well. It was a great comeback. It really was. It really was. So I thought Connor Tracy was really good, really good. Sherry, Tuala, Montoya was a little. Burton was running a lot. He's a bloody good player, eh? Just slots in the centre, does great. I actually thought Sexton was okay. Harry Hayes was great. I thought Hughes probably needed to do a bit better, but Harry Hayes he's a player, man. Reed, meh. Preston awesome. Kick out awesome. Howard, I think he had a mistake or 2. But I just want to come over to these missed tackles. Now, they missed quite a lot of missed tackles in this second half. I just want to see who made them. All right, so Harry Hayes missed 8. 75% tackle efficiency is not good, in the middle especially. So we have Montoya missed 3 from the wing. He missed more tackles than he made. Burton 3. Not great, but not horrible for that centre position. Sexton, pretty good, only 1. Reed Marnie, only 3, that's great. Kick out 2, Preston 3, that's fine out there. Curtis Moran, Galvin only 1. So not too bad, just obviously Harry Hayes had a little bit of a not so, no flash one, but Bronson Sherry was enormous too. Yeah, look, I guess the general thing I'm trying to say, I don't. If you're a Bulldogs fan, you're fine. You're going to be sweet. It's still all there. I have no doubt they're going to make the top 4 and be very strong. Just got to sort out that offense. It's not poor. It's definitely not poor. It just needs to be a bit better. You need to be able to find points. You really do need to be able to find points. They probably should have been up more than 16 at about the not so necessarily halftime, but probably just when they took that penalty goal, if they got a try there, and it's 22-0, well, it would have at least gone to golden point, right? So anyway, and Broncos, I think this is going to be a big win for them. I think if healthy, all those superstars get dropped back in, and they become very scary. They get a lot of players back from injury as well. Ben Hunt in at the 9 only strengthens them. So Bulldogs, not too bad. Broncos, awesome win. Raiders, Dragons. Let's just talk about this for a second. 1 second. I heard a lot of people saying robbed because of that forward pass. I'm not good at reading forward passes. That's why I never comment on them. I'm just not good with that angle. It's just like the camera's like barreled down. I don't think you can call it a robbery if it happens in like the first. When did that happen? That was very early, right? First 20 minutes of the game. I don't think you can call that a robbery. To me, a robbery has to be like it's one of the last calls of the game. Because so much could happen. Like, let's say Sloan scores that try. How do we know they don't kick it down and Gutherson tears his ACL off the kickoff? You know, like, there's too many variables. Like, the game would be completely different. It could have... You might be like, yeah, try, but it could... 10 horrible things could have happened after it if that happened. You know? The space-time continuum could have changed. I don't know if that's the right thing. I just... But you get what I'm saying, right? Like, you can't pick a bad call that went against you in the 15th minute and say, well, we lost because of that. To me, like for example, Cowboys against Eagles in that semi-final, I believe it was 2022, that Mitchell Moses flick that looked like it very much went forward. That happened right at the end of the game. Like, that's like that was the try that put them ahead, and I don't believe there was any more points scored after that. That to me is like one you can blow up. I really don't think you can call something that happened early in the game a forward pass. I think that's the one everyone's talking about. I just saw in my comments everyone was like, Dragons got robbed. But anyway, that's just my personal opinion on it. It's just, I didn't think it was forward either. I'm agreeing with you. But yeah, I don't know if you can call it a robbery if it happened in the first chunk of the game. Look, man, Raiders, yeah. Raiders keep winning. Like, they're on, a 3 or 4 game streak now. Oh, 7 game streak, right? But their last 3-ish, maybe 4. It'd be a little Q in the racky. But this is the thing, right? Like, and this is why I'm not knocking Canberra too much here. No one's playing 80 minutes of footy. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, yeah, Canberra, you know, they're like falling off at the end of the game, but they're winning them. Like, we just talked about the Bulldogs. Bulldogs aren't playing 80 minutes of footy. Melbourne aren't playing 80 minutes of footy. Like, you know what I mean? So it's sort of like, if this team was, say, Canberra was coming third, and it's last year and they're playing the way they were playing, and Melbourne and Penrith are just murdering, I'd be like, yeah, that's super concerning. But no one's really putting 80 minutes in. So I'm not overly concerned. Having said that, it is a little concerning. Just because who were those wins been against? They weren't, from memory, just not crash hot teams, right? Because Dragons haven't been too crash hot and played poorly in this game, and it's still a very, very close game. So Knights without play, and then Tigers as well. I'm pretty sure they. So those last 3, like, not very impressive. Like, really not very impressive victories there from the Canberra Raiders. But yeah, I mean, this is why. Like, I'd understand it. Like, if Dragons played awesome in this game and they won by 4 points, I'd be like, man, who cares? But Dragons completed at 67%, man. Like 28 tackles, that's actually not too bad, but 14 errors, bro. You know, like, they should put that team away. So I'm like I said, it's nothing to be overly concerned about, but it's a little concerning. But at the end of the day, they keep racking up these wins. Like, what can we say? You know, it's I don't know what else we can say. But look, man, little concerning thing for me, Jed Stewart, his defense. I don't know how long's Tavalla out for. Is it Savala? How do you say his name again? Tamale. Was I calling him Savala? Bloody hope not. Round 26. Oh, that sucks. Sam Walker, round 20. That butcher. Man, they just can't catch a break, eh? The old Bunnies or the bloody Roosters. All right, so Tamale, round 26. Yeah, I really like Jed Stewart. I love what he's doing, but it's noticeably worse with him there, and I can't remember 3 games, right? There has been points there every time. Like, Sloan tore Jed Stewart apart in this game, and Sloan's not even wanted by his club, you know. So, little concerning, But everywhere else, I actually really liked. Kyo Weeks, that try, how he caught the ball, got smacked, stayed on his feet, but the dude who hit him fell on the ground. That totally reminded me of Jared Hayne, man. Just when he gets pulled and the person just like falls off him and he just stays perfectly upright and just gains speed as he's doing it. It's crazy, man. He's something else. But yeah, it was nuts. The thing that sort of sucked about this game was the same people kept scoring all the tries. Raiders are a really hard team to bet on because they really share the tries around. Like, there's no real, other than like Hudson Young was like up until the State of Origin was leading their try score account. Papa, I believe Papa and Tarpany were in their top 5 for like strike rate for tries. You know, I was like, dude, what is going on? Like, what is wrong with what is wrong with the Raiders playing outside the box? But look, I tell you what, I love Weeksy. To me, can be top 5. Like, and I think he's at the perfect club too because they don't really skin you on edges a whole heap. I love him to see him adopt a similar way to Pappenhausen and use him like Pappenhausen. I've said this about Reece Walsh as well. Rather than trying to create some ball playing, sweeping out the back, I want to see him creating the space, like someone creating with an offload. That's why he's at the perfect team. He's got a big team full of offloaders, or just outside. Like they got skillful second rollers. So like outside to Huddy Young, back inside for Kyo Weeks, who dips in behind against the grain. You know, stuff like that. Because his balance, his speed, all that stuff is beautiful. And all the outside backs were great. Jed Stewart was pretty good, but like I said, needs to work on his balance, on his defensive reads, and a solid effort from these guys and the bench. Oh, Trey Mooney, bro, get this dude a regular spot, man. He came on and skittled. Mind you, he did come on against the Laurie and the Pacifica and Fafita and stuff, but he is really good. I was shocked he re-signed at Canberra, just because he would slot into just about every other team's bench every week. Like he's Broncos would take him any day. I reckon Penrith would take him. I reckon maybe not Melbourne because they've just got a lot. But you get what I'm saying. Like there's teams that could use a really good big front rower with good hands, doesn't make errors, can get your meters, finds his front. Like he's really good. What else? Yeah, but look, again, I'm not going to read too much into this one. I'm just going to sort of leave it there. Raiders, they're flying. I don't want to be too negative on them. I just wasn't like, whoa, man, like watch out Raiders. But at the end of the day, I've said it for a while now. If you play a bad game and you still win, you know, how disappointed can you be? So, Raiders, congratulations. You're out on top. You're flying. You've pretty much locked up top 4 now. Top 8 is 100% locked up. Top 4 is just a win or two away at absolute most. So, bloody brilliant. Up the milk. Now, Dragons, I didn't quite understand. I didn't think Kyle Flanagan was that bad. I just thought, not great either, though. I actually thought this first set of middles did a good job, but they're just so unorganised. Like, and I guess that is a Kyle Flanagan's point. Fault to an extent. He's an organising half, right? But just like the ball went to Jaden Sewer twice on fifth tackle in the first 20 minutes, and he's put kicks in. Like, did you Dragons? You didn't practice out of training, like, you know what I mean? Like once, all right, but it happened twice, bro. Like, yeah, they look like headless chooks here for parts of it, but when they turned it on, and like I said, they just kept they had so much success down that edge, and it was annoying because I bloody had, what's his name as a try scorer, Finau, and they just kept going right, and Sewer and Sloan and Flanagan and scoring. I'm just sitting there going, how? Like, Dragons literally only ever attack left. But I was worried straight away when I think they didn't score, but they went right and just skinned Jed so easily. I was like, uh-oh, they're going to keep going back there now. And that's why I knew when my multi was dead. Unfortunately, but yeah, let's have a quick look at some of how the team stats went. I'm just trying to think if there's anyone else I wanted to give a shout out to. Yeah, I thought Sewell was actually pretty good considering. I was knocking his kicking game, but it's not your job, brother. Yeah, this one, man, like they completed well. Dragons didn't. For it to be a 4-point game, this is not great. But look, all the good stuff, winning all the good stats. Look at this. This is all in bold here. Winning all the stuff that matters. You know, more runs, more meters, more post contact, more line breaks, more tackle breaks, longer set distance, more kick return meters, faster play of the ball, more offloads. You know, you can't really knock them, can you? Tackle efficiency, 92%. That's brilliant. 18 missed tackles for a game. So you get what I mean? See where I'm in this conundrum? Where I think they can definitely be better, but like all these numbers are brilliant. Less than 10 errors. It's great. I'm going to be positive today. Great game, Milk. And congratulations for being on top of the table. Dragons, look, in a little bit of trouble here. Let's just have a little look at how their run home looks. This could get ugly. I don't think they've been bad, but... Alright, so we have Roosters with everyone back. Then Doggies, ouch. Then Cowboys in Townsville. Then Raiders again, ouch. Sharks, Warriors. They could win that. They could win that. And then... Ooh. Yeah, it's going to be a... That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a tough one muffin. On to the next one, boys. Let's go. Cowboys Storm. What happened in this game again? Okay. All right, so we had tries. Oh, I was pissed off I didn't take bloody Purdue. I did take Katoa, which was great. So tries to Katoa, Nelson, Nick Meaney. I said this in my post game, like, man, being a fullback at Melbourne must be awesome. Like, I just love how Craig Bellamy still uses a fullback, like sort of a more traditional way, that backing up, outside, inside, how I was talking about before. Like, you just feast there. Like, Nico Hines played there, feasted. Bill, obviously, Cam Munster feasted there, like, who Billy Slater, obviously, like, Greg, like, everyone just feasted. Their numbers just go crazy. And Nick Meaney, he's been good this year, but I haven't really, no one's really, like, he was so good in this game, bro. 250 metres, 2 tries, and that try celebration cracked me up, eh? I don't know why I found it so funny. And all that's been popping up on my TikTok, I'd never heard of that was it Balinese or Indonesian boat dances? It was so funny. I don't know why. It's so funny though. All I've been doing all day is watching Indonesian boat races. I want to start gambling on it, man. I wonder if you can. Now, we'll see if I can find a market for it later. But yeah, look, it was a weird one. It really was. I mean, Melbourne's similar to Canberra. I mean, they got the dub. I never felt like Melbourne were going to lose, but at the same time, Cowboys just wouldn't go away. They were like someone really annoying that you just can't shake. I mean, they scored the 8th minute, they scored the 16th, they scored the 28th, they scored the 36th. Then the 50th, then a couple tries there to sort of seal it. But, yeah, just... I don't know. It's just they just couldn't shake them. They just really couldn't shake them. And shout out to the Cowboys. I actually thought they were pretty good. I thought Drinkwater was incredible. Derby, bro. Derby is literally the new Corey Oates. Corey Oates could be so bad and so good in the same game. Like, Derby's just so bad for 20 minutes and then is just really good and then really bad again. Like, crazy. And like I said, I really dropped the ball there, not taking Purdue as my second try scorer. I saw him up against Chan and I was like, bro, he is express, bro. He's absolute express. I thought Clifford was solid. Yeah, look, Bateman's just probably, I mean, I don't know if they have anyone to replace him, but they've got to. I heard the commentary giving him a bit of a rap, but I don't know. I just think he's Super League standard now. He's a good player. He's been a good player, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I really don't. And then when you compare it to this other set, this Katoa and Blore, man, like, can anyone think of a better, I was about to say a second row combination, but they don't really combine, do they? Second row duo. They're awesome. Like, Katoa gets more of the raps because he does a little bit more offensively. But Blore and him are just, they're really, really good. Like, really good. I don't really have much else to say about this game. Hey, it was a win. I wasn't overly impressed in either team, but I wasn't disappointed in either team. I thought Cowboys showed great, sort of vigour to stay in it. I don't think Storm were good enough to give them a huge rap, but I don't think they were poor either. It was just bizarre. It was a really weird game. Let's have a look at some of these stats here. Cowboys, Storm, plenty more time in possession, 79% to 74. About an extra 100 running metres, plenty more post-contact. Wow. Cowboys had more line breaks than the Melbourne Storm. That is outrageous. 36 tackle breaks, 24. More average set distance. But they had less running metres. That is weird. Play the ball speed, almost identical. I tell you what, man, the refs are getting bloody good at this. Keeping these numbers together. It's funny, I see, because like what people are like, they bag the refs in the comments after games when their team loses or whatever. And they go, we're getting held down all game. And then I come in here and I go, their average play the ball speeds were identical. Like, I don't know how you can quite call that. But anyway. Now tackle efficiency, that's a little high. 36, 24, that's absolutely great. 10 errors to 14. But let's have a look how Nick Meaney's. What did Scotty Drinkwater do in the end, actually? Let's have a look at some of both these numbers. I thought Drinky went for a bit. He was running harder. He was really good. 206 metres. Derby had 200. Purdue 166. Labor. Clifford was all right. McLean needs to be a bit better. I thought Neemy was a bit better, but nothing crazy. Needed some more work from his second row here. I thought Thomas McKeely was pretty good. I didn't mind him at all. But Scotty Drinkwater, look at that. 206, 2 line breaks, 2 line break assists, 2 try assists. That's not bad, is it? He's a bloody hell of a player. One hell of a player he is. Grant Anderson, 203. Where's Nick Meaney? 255, 3 line breaks. Everyone had Jerome Hughes in their multis. He went straight playmaker mode. He wasn't looking to run much in this game at all. He still ran for 114. I mean, he was like, obviously he was to run mode, but you could tell he wasn't like trying to score. You know what I mean? Not trying to score either. Hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. Look at these numbers from these two. Like, look at that extra work they got out of their second row. So we've got Blore, 144, 2 line break assists, a try assists. Then we have Katoa, try, 150, 70 post contact. And then we come to Cowboys second row. Man, I'm telling you, second row is the most underrated position for winning rugby league games. Because, so we've got Bateman, 93, 34, and a line break assist. Then O'Donnell, 68, 28 post-contact, nothing. Man, because they're that edge, if they're dangerous, it just compresses everyone in around them and just creates space, man. Like, they're so important. Like Nickera from the Sharks, he runs good lines and he gets all the raps for those crazy tries he scores, but there's so many tries scored outside him because of the lines he run, because everyone's like, oh, he's going to run a crazy line, so they have to compress in. If you watch, I think it was last year, Roosters were scoring all their points on the right-hand side, right? Then Angus Crichton comes in and just turns GOAT mode in about round 7. Like, I'm talking like 80% of their tries are scored on the right edge, Dom Young side. Tupou hasn't scored, bro. Hasn't looked like scoring a try. Angus Crichton starts coming in and just going skits. All of a sudden, Tupou overtakes him as try scorer. He got a 7-game head start on him. It's just, it really, really helps. So, man, Melbourne, if they do turn it on, they're still a way off though. They're still going to be really hard to beat. If they can end up staying in second and get a home semi, very, very alarming. On to the West Tigers versus the Roosters, boys. West Tigers just holding them out. Tries to all 3 Fainu brothers, Charlie Staines, Marky Mark got 2. Tupou, Savala, and Tedesco all scored. Thanks for that one, brother. You saved me. I needed you. Look, I thought Tigers were actually pretty brilliant in this. My honest, just overall take on this game was they were better. They just forgot how to win games. They forgot how to close out games. Having those, the younger half in there obviously wouldn't have helped, but they put not Q in the rack, but they were like, we'll defend our way here. We're up by, what were they, up by 12 something? 12 or maybe 14 or whatever it was, and they just sort of like, we'll defend our way to this. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You got to keep trying to score points. And they got pretty lucky in the end. But I genuinely thought they were really good in this game. I thought they were the better team. Their goal line defense was incredible. Like, really, really good. Their scramble defense. Like, Roosters could have easily, scored 2, maybe 3 tries in that first half, bungling guys into touch. They were really, really good on their own goal line. I was really impressed. They're normally terrible. Like, someone asked me, how do you think someone will get a try? I'm like, absolutely. Like, Tigers are loose through the ruck, and their goal line defense is mid, of course you can get a try. Yeah, that was great. It was really, really good defense. So I was pretty happy with the Tigers, and I'm just glad for them because I just don't have to hear about what's wrong with the Tigers for a week. I just hope Tigers win like 3 more games this year at least. Maybe I'm happy for more, but I hope they just win 3 more games. They finish 12th, and we're just going to go, that's an improvement. That's better than it was last year. That's great. Build on it for next year. Get these Whanau boys all cracking, get your combinations right in your pre-season, come out and win some more footy games, try and have a genuine crack at the top 8. I'm so sick of every media outlet just talking about this team, bro. Leave them alone. I really don't get it, man. Like, I watch a lot of NBA, right, and I watch all the shows like First Take and, all that sort of stuff, and I wish Undisputed was still on, man. I used to love my Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp in the mornings. But you don't hear them talking about the Washington Wizards, bro. They talk about the Lakers. They talk about, the big teams. They're talking about Denver. They're talking about the Timberwolves. They're talking about OKC. They're not sitting there talking about the Wizards, bro. Like, talk about the good teams, media. Stop it. If the Tigers suck, let them suck for a few years, get their stuff together and do their thing, Jesus, it really pisses me off. I want to sit here and watch, turn on 3C, and they talk about the top. When the Bulldogs sucked as well, like 3 years ago, you turn it on and 3/4 of the show will be Tigers and Bulldogs. Oh, I don't want to hear it, but the Penrith are killing it. Broncos are killing it. Let's talk about them. Why are we talking about the Bulldogs and Tigers, man? No one cares. But Bulldogs fans and Tigers fans don't want to hear about how their team sucks. Fans of teams that are going good want to hear how good their team is. They want to hear, yeah, man, we're Broncos. Yeah, here's how that rap they gave. Jesus, I really don't understand it. But look, I thought Dewey was really nice in this. I really noticed them look better when he went into 6 last week. He really straightened them up. He's really good. Taruva had a dodgy start, but ended up coming pretty good. And like I said, I was just impressed, man. And Polair, bro, I got to see this guy's numbers. Tyrrell May ran for 200. But Tyrrell May, if you go back and watch, he has his best games when Polair has good games. Because he can run off the back of him or vice versa. But he's really good, man. Like, where'd Polair do? 171, 68 post contact. How many minutes? He did that in 49 minutes. He did Payne Haas numbers in 49 minutes. Wow. He's good, bro. He's really good. He's got a bit of a Spence carry, like that violent carry. Not quite as violent, but then also can give you some pretty... 171 in 40-something minutes is bloody good, man. That's without a line break or anything. That is really good. And then you can just have Tyrrell May there pumping out the big minutes. He's more your Nate Diaz. He's going to pitter-patter you. He's not going to tear you to pieces, but he'll just keep hitting you. And it's a great combination. Why is this dude's picture so big? Charlie Murray. Charlie. But yeah, that's damn incredible. Love Taruba at fullback besides that little mistake he had at the start. I thought Skelton was really good as well. Really, really good. But look, I really hope that Tigers can jag a few more wins. I really hope they can just stay out of the media for the rest of the year. That'll be such a big win for them. They don't need to win, bro. They don't need to make the finals. Where are they now? 14th. That's a little too low. I feel like the media will still be talking about them if they finish in 14th. They need to get up to like 11th. Just 12 or up, you know. If they can finish in here, I think they get left alone and they can just have a good off season and come back and hopefully be good. Now just onto the Roosters here, man. Look, I don't want to bag them a whole heap because I heard in the telecast they said only 3 players. Because this is what we forget, right? Like we forget. It goes away. The ins and outs, does it? Okay, so we forget. Like we're like, oh man, they've got 4 State of Origin players out and a few injuries. They've also lost about 7 players last year. Like they had 3 players playing this game that played in their corresponding game last year. 3. Do you know how outrageous that is? That is so insane. So, look, they're going through a rebuild and actually doing a pretty good job of it. Like they nearly jagged this win, and yeah, I'm really loving what I'm seeing from some of these guys. Like White, I want to see White's numbers as well. Whoops, no, it's team stats. Like if Roosters can play finals this year, it's a bloody good effort. Bro ran for 251. He ran for 251 metres. 114 post contact. There are front rowers that played this weekend that got less than 114 metres. And he got 114 post-contact metres. He carried blokes for 114 metres. That is absolutely insane. Nwanga Tuase, bro. He's probably my favourite player to watch right now. How he's adapted to the game is pretty special, man. Like, people go, oh, it's very similar. It's really not, eh? Like, I know it is and you can learn, but there are a lot of little intricacies with either game that get drilled into you from 8 years old that you don't even probably realise that you have or you're watching that they're possessing. But, yeah, he's adapted really well. I love the way, even if he fakes flicks. Like, he did one, he faked flick. It was funny because if he did do that, he probably would have got hit and put on his back. But because the player who was defending him had to go mark his outside because if he did flick it, he was away. So he fell on his front and got a quick play the ball. I'm like, that is awesome. Like, that is actually, I know a lot of people would have really saw that and thought it was cool, but I did. I was like, that was really cool. He would have, if he'd have stood there and held tough, he would have got bang hit because he had someone around his legs, put on his back, slow play the ball, fake. Fell on his front, quick play the ball, they're on to the next. It was great. But, yeah, like I said, I don't want to talk about them too much. They're missing too much. They're doing great. Let's have a little look-see at their run home because they're exceeding my expectations. Not by a lot. Like, I mean, like, I didn't think they were going to suck or anything, but I didn't think they'll be, you know, didn't think they'll be sitting in just 8th or just outside the 8 at this position. So, Dragons next week. That's big. Sharks, they can win that. Storm, that's going to be tough. Seagulls, they can win that. Dolphins, it's a tough one. Up at Suncorp, that'll be tough. Doggies, that's tough. Eels, they can win that. Storm again. Rabbitohs to finish. It's going to be tough, but they can do it. They can play finals this year, which is wild. That is absolutely wild. I thought Tupou was awesome. But yeah, let's just move on to the next one. Sea Eagles versus the Rabbitohs. This hasn't uploaded yet either. 14-0 at half time. The first of all, man, the cheese. I was actually really, so the cheese obviously played. I thought he looked great. Like, he came out, he had a really solid first stint, and what I really liked, he came on as a second rower, or a lock, sorry, in the second stint, and that's when they started. I was sitting there watching I was sitting there watching the Bunnies going, they are so slow through the middle. Like, Bunnies aren't a fast team. Like, literally don't have a ton of speed on their edges, don't have a ton of speed through the middle, but they're more of that silky ball play, and, you know, they'll just work to a position, and then Cody Walker will pull something, Latrell will pull something, whatever. And they obviously didn't have that tonight, and I was sitting there going, oh my God, I won my bet in this one. I needed Bunnies for 3 tries, my final leg of my multi. And I was sitting there going, there is no chance they score 3 tries. Like, they could play 3 games and I don't think they'd score 3 tries with this roster because they were just so slow through the middle. Every play the ball was slow. I was like, wow. And then Cheese came back on. And just that leg speed, just that threatening and just that ball playing. It's funny I'm saying this because I always said this about him, but he could really be that Aaron Clark that is to the Warriors. That really dirty, filthy number 13 who's just rubbish to tackle. When he's running at you, just like, damn it. But because he's been a dummy half his whole life, his ball playing is exquisite. So he not only is he violent, you have to respect his run, which compacts the defensive line. He can put it on the chest of his halves in a nanosecond, which creates space. That is literally how they scored their first try. Bang, ran, angle, whoom, out to an edge, try. So disappointing he did his thing. But that's what I was watching there going, okay, I think they found something here. And then, damn, that sucks. But, yeah, look, terrible night for the goal kickers tonight. 0 from 3 and 3 from 6. Jeez. That's pretty damn putrid, isn't it, boys? Yeah, look, they need Trell back. Alex Johnson's just a winger. He's a winger. Like, the best, one of the best, but he wasn't great there. Dallas Tunkin scored 2 tries, but he was getting pretty exposed defensively in the first half anyway, but I thought he recovered really well. I've never liked Jack White in the halves. Never liked him there. Surely there was a different option. I think they should put Dodd there. I don't know. I've said this, if you've been watching my videos for a long time, I've been saying this since he's been at Canberra. I don't like him in the halves. I don't care. Lock, second row, centre, fullback. I just don't want him in. I don't want him making playmaking decisions. I don't want Jack White thinking. I want him playing. But yeah, look, this could be a rough old run home for the Bunnies. They've just lost the Cheese. They don't have any speed through the middle. Hubner slow, Ho slow, Arrow slow, Keon slow. Brandon Smith's gone now. Tavila medium speed. Slow, so slow, bro. And then their edges, again, just like slow, very fast. But you get what I'm saying, right? It's a very slow team. It's a very fast game in 2025. So, like, even though they sort of showed us some glimpses, I'm sort of looking at now and going, you know what, Bunnies, I said this a couple of weeks ago, I don't think they're the second worst team, and I don't at full strength. But they're just with no Campbell Graham, not wanting to put Dallas Tunkin in the middle. They've got no speed, bro. They've got no fast play the balls. It's just really, really tough. So they could be in for a rough old trot here. They may, I'm not saying they will, they may give the Titans a little run for their money for this spoon position. They just might. Wins. Oh, my 11 grand's like almost locked, isn't it? They've already had all 3 buys. They're coming last. Rabbitohs have 2 more. Eels have had theirs. All right, so they're 1 game ahead of the Eels. All right, come on, Eels. When's Mitchell Moses back? Let's have a quick look. Come on, Moses. When are you back, lad? Where are the Eels? Oh, here we go. Jeez, they got a few out. I didn't even realise. Moretti. Mitchell, round 20. Riley Smith suspension. Will Penasini, round 20. Jeez, they got a few out, don't they? Oh, nice. Tuivati's back. I really like this kid. He's really good. Similar to like Xavier Willison. Get him some minutes, bro. He's going to be. He's clear. And Katonga from King from the Dragons. This guy. Yeah, Loco Pacifica Tonga. Get him some more minutes too, please. Yeah, look, this was a weird game. I feel like both teams were just sort of thinking about what they were going to do after the game or what planning their Bali trips. I just felt it was strange. Like, obviously, they were Seagulls like happy when they scored tries. It just didn't look like they're, you can tell, like, when Broncos were like, they were like ecstatic when they like scored, and you know what I mean. You can tell it really meant something to them. I just felt like Seagulls were just like, yeah, this is sick. We're winning. It just didn't feel like it had zero big game feel for me. Not that it was a big game, but it's starting to get towards the serious end. And look, Like they're in a position right now, and they're playing good enough. They'll scrape into the 8 and get bounced in the first round of the finals. Like if they have to play Broncos at Suncorp and Broncos are humming, that's GG's. So I wasn't really feeling either either team, but look, it's a good win, man. They put 6 tries on. It just felt like a bit of a sleepy win. Like I just felt like it was just, they were faster, bigger, they had more firepower, and they did enough to get the dubs. But yeah, wasn't over impressed with Jazz Tavanga here. Yeah, I need to have a look. Who are they getting back and when are they getting them back? Right, so yes, I know why Sorensen was out for so long. Where's this bloody Seagulls? So Croker concussion, he'll be back. Olakawatu round 21. That's not too bad. Nathan Brown bicep, he'll be gone. He won't play again until that's back. Ooh, round 25 Paseka still. They need one of these 2 dudes back ASAP. They need this dude back ASAP, and they need this dude playing his best footy if they want to do anything in the finals, in my opinion. So we'll have to wait and see. But that's pretty much it, boys. Don't really need to talk about this one a whole heap. Bunny's not going great. It's a good win. Look at all these numbers. I'm not knocking you, but Seagulls fans. It was just, if you weren't a Seagulls fan, it just felt like a sleepy win. And I put that in my short TikTok video, and heaps of people were like, Brent, I agree. I just didn't look like they really cared that they were winning. That's a weird take, but it's just what it felt like to me. So anyway, it's all good. All right, boys, let's have a look at next week's games. Oh, fuck, I hate this website, bro. I hate it. It's going to move again. There we go. I predicted at that time, NRL.com. Alright, so State of Origin affected round. So sort of, like there are still 3 buys this week, and we'll go back to 1 after this one. So sort of State of Origin affected, and also players are backing up. Let's have a quick look at that buy. So Raiders have a buy. So Huddy and Pups will get an extra thing. Latrell and the Seagulls don't have any, so that doesn't... Alright, so big game. Sharkies, Finns. This is big for both. This is a big game for both teams. Both teams right on that cusp of the 8, just inside, just outside, both on 20 points. Big game. So whoever wins this jumps into 7th. The Shark versus the Dolphin. That's going to be a good game. Then we have Knights versus Storm. Ooh. Bloody poor Knights fans, bro. They just can't win a game at home. They really can't. Great fans as well. Dragons, Roosters. That should be a good game. I'm pretty excited about that one. That should be a really good game. I don't know who to tip in that one. Cowboys, Bulldogs. Up in must win for the Cowboys, and it's not must win for the Bulldogs in the slightest. But like I said, you don't want to lose 3 in a row. Wars, huge game for them. This is actually the perfect game for them, playing the West Tigers in New Zealand. Not a horrible team with nothing to lose, but and it's on Sunday, so Luai should be able to get over there in time from State of Origin. Then we have this Eels versus the Panthers. Oh no! All right, cool. And then Broncos versus the Titans. So I hope if Titans lose, hopefully if Penrith beat the Eels, hopefully Broncos beat the Titans for my 11K. Yeah, wow, it's not a bad round of footy. It's not. And they don't start till the Friday. How good. All right, boys, that's it. Thank you all so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.